your circumstances are lying to you. And this might sound weird, but hear me out. Most of us confuse where we are today with who we are and who we will permanently be. But the thing is that just because something sucks right now, right? You might be looking for a job, you can't find a job, or you might be broke, or whatever the situation. But just because it sucks right now, it doesn't mean it has to stay the same, because seasons also change, right? But here's the thing though, our brain is literally wired to accept our environment as who we are. It's basically a survival thing. And it's the biggest lie that keeps us stuck. Your circumstances are just facts. They have no meaning. You might be broke, jobless, lonely, but they don't mean anything until you give a certain meaning to them. And whatever meaning we give, it either becomes your prison or your fuel. And what do I mean by that? I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you have two people who have experienced the exact same situation. But in the end, they have two completely different outcomes. For example, one keeps going and the other one decides to give up and walk away. So basically, two people, same circumstances, completely different outcomes. And the reason for that is this. It's never about what happens to you, but it's about how you interpret what happens and how you respond to it. Someone told me once, your current situation is not your final destination. And it shifted my perspective completely. Because in that moment, I thought to myself, I'm never going to get out of this situation. It's never going to get better. But I was completely wrong. And eventually that person turned out to be right. Everything that happens just happens. We attach a certain meaning, a certain feeling to it. Now, I'm not saying that if you go to something traumatic, for example, that you shouldn't attach a feeling or a meaning to it. That's not what I'm saying, right? Because shit happens. But in general, whatever circumstances you go through right now, it can either help you or break you, depending on how you look at it. We need to remember that we're not our bank accounts if you have little to no money. You're not your body if you're out of shape. You are the one observing all these things. I remember telling my girlfriend once that, have you ever noticed that you are not your body? Have you ever noticed that you are inside your body? Because I have many occasions where I feel like literally I'm not my body. I feel that I'm a soul in my body. And this might sound crazy maybe to some people, but this is the case for each and every one of us. We are not our body. We are a spiritual being using this vessel to help us live here on this planet. So basically you're observing everything that is happening and everything that is around you. And the moment you separate yourself from your circumstances, that's when you get your power back. So there are two ways to look at whatever happens, right? We can choose to be a victim or we can choose to be a creator. A victim says, I can't control what's happening to me. There's nothing I can do. This is my endpoint. A creator says, you know what? It might be shitty that this is happening to me, but what can I do to get out of that situation? What is it helping me to learn? And the thing is, your circumstances won't change until your mindset does. And this is something I've experienced myself. Being bullied in my childhood left a dark mark on the way I was living my life. But as soon as I started speaking to a coach, it helped me shift my mindset completely and my life started changing. All circumstances started changing. And that was only because I changed my mindset. The beautiful thing about life, but also the sad thing about life, is that everything is temporary, right? A good situation is temporary and a bad situation is also temporary, which gives you hope. If you've ever been into a bad situation before, realize that eventually the situation changed for the better. Nothing lasts forever though, except your ability to choose how to respond. Our struggles are not definitions. They're just there to show us the places where we still need work to do. And suffering happens when you resist what is and when you identify with it. You know, I've had different occasions in life where I was going through something very difficult, right? And the first instance, I was blaming the person who caused that situation until one moment I realized, you know what? I might not have chosen to be in that situation, right? I might not have chosen for that person to treat me poorly, for example. But what did I do? Not to blame myself, but to learn. What did I do to keep me or to get me into that circumstance? So when you take responsibility for whatever you're experiencing, everything starts to change. Because now you realize the power you have in order for you to change that situation. Because blame keeps you powerless and responsibility sets you free. One way to deal with bad situations or situations you're not satisfied with is to rewrite the story you tell yourself. So be mindful of what you say to yourself about that situation, right? Is it empowering you or keeping you stuck or keeping you limited? I read this beautiful quote once that said, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. And this is a beautiful example of taking back your power. Again, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. I know it's cliche and I use a lot of cliches in my videos, but they are cliches for a reason. I do believe sincerely, no matter how shitty your situation is, It's exactly what we need at that time in order for us to become the person we want to be. So instead of being a victim and asking, why me? Like Les Brown said once, why not you? So stop asking, why is this happening? But start asking, what is this thing trying to teach me? Again, your circumstances will only change when you do, when you change the way you look at them. Are you going to let the circumstances define you? Or are you going to use them to become who you're actually meant to be? Alright, so that was the video for today. I hope you found value. If so, like, share, subscribe, comment in the comment section, and tell me, what circumstance are you ready to see differently? Put it in the comment section below. If you made it this far, thank you for your time, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one.